Have you ever walked away from a conversation replaying every word in your mind, wondering whether you're too sensitive, whether you misunderstood what happened, or whether somehow it was all your fault? Perhaps you find yourself asking other people what they think before making even small decisions, or you apologise even when you're not quite sure what you're apologising for. Or maybe you've become so used to questioning yourself that you hardly notice you're doing it anymore. If you're quietly recognising yourself already, I just want you to know something, that you are not alone. In more than 26 years of sitting with people in therapy, I've come to realise just how many thoughtful, caring, and capable people live this way. Not because there's something wrong with them, but because somewhere along the line they slowly stopped trusting themselves. And understanding why that happens is often where healing begins. So, if you spent years being hard on yourself, I hope today's conversation feels like a gentle exhale. Hi, I'm Jill. I help people connect the dots between their childhood experiences and the patterns that continue to shape their adult lives. And if we're meeting for the first time, welcome. And if you're returning, I'm so glad you're here. Every one of us develops an internal map of ourselves, of other people, and of the world around us. Most of that map is drawn in childhood, long before we're aware it's happening. It quietly shapes what we believe about ourselves, what we expect in relationships, and how safe we believe the world is. Some parts of the map serve us well. Others might have helped us cope at one time, but they no longer help us thrive. Here on Simply Jill, we gently explore one part of the map at a time, not judging ourselves, but to understand ourselves. Because when we understand ourselves with compassion, we stop believing that we are the problem. Today's journey begins with one very important part of that map, our internal compass. Imagine setting out on a journey carrying a compass. You don't question it, you simply trust that it will help you find your way. Now imagine that every time you looked at it, someone beside you said, "No, that's wrong. Oh, you're reading it incorrectly. Oh, you're too sensitive. That never happened. You are imagining things. You're making a fuss over nothing." At first, you'll probably trust your compass, but if it happened often enough, especially when you were young, you might begin looking to the other person instead of looking to yourself. Eventually, you wouldn't throw your compass away, you'd simply stop believing it. And I often wonder whether that's what happens emotionally for so many of us. As children, we naturally know when something frightens us, when something feels unfair, when we feel lonely, or when we feel unseen. Our inner world speaks to us all the time. But if those experiences are repeatedly dismissed, or criticised, or laughed at, or ignored, or questioned, our nervous system quietly adapts. Not because it's faulty, but because it's wise. It begins to learn that listening to other people may feel safer than listening to itself. Your compass never stopped working. It simply became quieter than all the other voices telling you not to trust it. Children don't waken up one morning and decide, "From today, I'm going to doubt myself." It happens much more gently than that. Perhaps your feelings were minimized, perhaps your memories were questioned, or perhaps your needs were overlooked. Perhaps you learned that keeping the peace was safer than speaking your truth. Perhaps love felt unpredictable, and becoming very good at reading everyone else became one of the ways you stayed emotionally safe. And if this has never been explained to you before, I want you to know this. Your nervous system wasn't making a mistake. It was adapting. It gently learnt, pay attention to everyone else first. Check their reactions. Make sure they're okay. Don't trust yourself. Those patterns may once have helped you cope in childhood, but they can leave you entering adulthood with a map that quietly says, everyone else's opinion is probably more reliable than mine. When you see it through this lens, it makes perfect sense that self-doubt followed. Not because you were born doubting yourself, but because your experiences slowly taught you to. And this is really important. You didn't choose self-doubt, you learned it. One conversation at a time, one criticism at a time, one dismissal at a time, one moment of being told, you're too emotional, you're overreacting, you're remembering it wrongly, until eventually questioning yourself felt safer than believing yourself. And when you see it that way, perhaps you can stop asking, what's wrong with me? And begin asking a very different question. And that question is, what taught me not to trust myself? Now, these two questions lead to completely different journeys. One leads towards shame, and the other leads towards understanding. And understanding is where healing begins. It isn't unusual for people to discover in therapy that self-doubt isn't solely about confidence. Just as important is something more subtle: trust in yourself. And these people are often capable, intelligent, and strong. They haven't lost those qualities, but somewhere along the way, they may have spent years learning to trust everyone else's voice before their own. So perhaps for you too, this isn't simply a confidence problem. And rather than trying to stop every doubting thought, the starting point is to gently learn to hear yourself again. And then the question can slowly begin to change from, what do you think I should do, to, can I tell you what I think? And then on to, actually, I think I already know. That's not simply confidence returning. That's self-trust quietly finding its way home. I think confidence is often misunderstood. Confidence says, I think I can. Self-trust says, whatever happens, I trust myself to respond. Confidence naturally rises and falls throughout life, but self-trust is different. It's the relationship you have with yourself, and relationships can grow and heal. Children don't stop trusting themselves because they're being silly. They stop trusting themselves because the people they depended on taught them to. The beautiful thing is that relationship with yourself can be rebuilt gently, patiently, one small experience at a time. If you recognise yourself in this, please don't feel you have to fix it overnight. Today isn't about becoming a different person. It's simply about beginning to understand yourself with a little more kindness. So let's look at 5 simple steps to help build your self-trust again. The first is the next time you notice yourself immediately asking someone else what they think, just pause, just for a moment, and quietly ask yourself first, what do I think? Now, even if your answer feels uncertain or foggy, your voice deserves to be heard too. The second one, pay attention to your body. Very often, your nervous system notices something long before your thinking mind catches up. Rather than dismissing those feelings, like gut feelings, like intuition, be curious about them. Your body may be trying to tell you something your old map taught you to ignore. Thirdly, notice when you're apologising automatically. Before saying sorry, pause. Ask yourself, have I actually done something wrong? You might be surprised how often the answer is no. And the fourth one, keep one small promise to yourself each day. Not because it's productive, but because every promise you keep quietly tells your nervous system you can rely on me. And finally, please be patient with yourself. Maps that were drawn over many years are redrawn one gentle step at a time. Every moment you choose curiosity over criticism, you're changing your map. So the next time you hear yourself thinking, maybe I'm overreacting, or perhaps it's just me, pause for a moment. Take one gentle breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and ask yourself this really important question. Is this my old map speaking? Or is this my internal compass quietly trying to guide me? Because your compass never stopped working. It simply became harder to hear beneath years of self-doubt. Healing isn't about becoming someone different. It's about learning to trust the person you've been all along. If today's conversation helps you understand yourself a little more compassionately, I'd love you to stay with us. Please consider subscribing as we continue exploring one part of your internal map at a time. Here at Simply Jill, I hope that these videos can form almost like a healing video library for you. If you recognise yourself in today's conversation, please take a moment to click the like button. Not because numbers matter to me, but because it helps YouTube place this video in front of someone else who's quietly questioning themselves today. Sometimes understanding is one of the greatest gifts that we can offer each other. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And if you would like more videos to help you understand how you tick, this one coming up is a great next place to go. So until next time, you take good care. Bye bye for now.